Hello, everyone, and first of all, thank you, Isha, for hosting this session. I really appreciate that, and we're going to look at some of the technology disruptions and their intimate use cases in the common in our lives. And we are actually living in an age where the technology is playing a very important role. And in fact, the pandemic has in fact accelerated the dependency on technology in our everyday lives. And in this context, we want to go over which are those top technology disruptors and how is it affecting our day-to-day lives, governance, and business environment. That's the overall purpose. So myself, Sajan Paul, Managing Director for Juniper Networks India and SAARC, and I also have with me Mr. Tarique Barkatullah with me here. So we're going to go over a few things. In my mind, the technology has been changing, and the pace at which the technology is changing has been much more rapid in the recent past. And a few areas we want to cover in the short period of time. One, I'm seeing massive adoption of cloud and everything as a service, XaaS, as it is called in technical terms. It could be software as a service. We are familiar with platform as a service, and those things are already a mature technology in many domains. And we will also see even a complete business as a service and so forth. So we will see that adoption happening in much more granular way. I know there are positives and negatives of this transition which is taking place, and some of this accelerated requirement has been driven by a hybrid work environment that we are seeing, and also citizens' conveniences. The other thing I'm seeing is also decision intelligence or massive use of artificial intelligence and machine learning in cutting across several domains and combine it with social sciences to get a much more predictable, more of a prediction, but more of a decision making influence. The other area we're seeing is 5G for connectivity, because all of these technologies would need massive, reliable connectivity for people to get access to these technology areas and in a secured manner. So these are my top of the mind thoughts. I know, Mr. Tarique, I think you work among the government sector and also across major businesses, service providers, educational institutions, and other digital enablement and government to citizen, government to government, and many other areas. So I think we want to hear from you on your thoughts around some of the key technology areas, and of course the use cases and where you're seeing some of the inhibiting factors which is not allowing these technologies to take off the way it should. I think I'm sure this will be a great dialogue that we can carry forward.
Yeah, thank you. In Bangladesh, after the 2009, when the present government first came to power, they had a agenda for uh, Vision 2021 Digital Bangladesh, and we have fully accomplished all the vision checklist or the requirements. Those were there, and we are now a middle income country. So you see, the government also promised the citizen that it will deliver services online. Citizen will not have to come to the offices or some places to get their simple services. They can do it online. And luckily, we have been able to accomplish that. While we were focusing on the uh, providing quick services to the citizen, we forgot the very essential thing, that is the security for the services. And we had quite a bit of issues and accidents, but we have been able to manage it and overcome the situation. And then from 2020, we had this new pandemic, COVID, and there is a worldwide paradigm shift because of this COVID situation. People were forced to work from home. Work from home was actually never practiced in this part of the world. I don't know about India, but in Bangladesh, we never had this concept of work from home. So we started adapting technologies which were already available, and also in the developed country, and the companies who are building new technologies also uh, came up with new technologies to face the challenges. And cloud is one of the few areas where there has been a rapid deployment. In Bangladesh, we have recently published a draft cloud policy for the government, and we have also signed a contract with one of the large US multinational Oracle to set up their Oracle sovereign cloud in Bangladesh. And we have started provided other cloud services from 2017. This was a small initiative, but it worked very nicely with the during the COVID, and the government has now decided to bring in large companies from abroad to help the government and the nation in building these facilities so that everyone takes the benefit out of the new technology. But there are certain challenges, especially when you look at everything as a service, what you mentioned. It sounds quite nice, but we are not so sure about the protection of the personal data, protection of the sensitive data, and other which essentially the government has to be very careful about. So, and especially in today's world, you have seen there are data protection laws and laws like GDPR, which have provisions for heavy fine to the uh, release of incidental release of personal data, especially European data on the public. So we are seeing some new challenges which has come up with this cloud, and uh, and then there is a very big shortage of uh, cloud professionals who can provide the security on the cloud. If I look for some informations on the cloud security, those are very much based on uh, cloud as infrastructure as a service, software as a service, platform as a service, but cloud for everything, but everywhere, but cloud facilities to provide sensitive data. There are very limited information or research white papers available so that we can carry on with the new facilities, new adapt the new facilities or the development in our government practice. But we are open to the new development. We would definitely like to see the development to come in. And you have also been speaking about the 5G, but 5G is not like 2G, 3G, 4G. 5G is much, much beyond the communication. It's not just only telephony. It moves ahead from telephony towards integrating all your work together. Like will have your production, your border control, and your essential services connected to 5G. There are concerns that should we as a nation put everything under one vendor control, or we should have a distributed vendor to adapt this technology. So there is a good deal of debate going on, and because of pandemic, we did not had a 5G launch which was scheduled in 2021, but we are hoping to have that uh, 5G launch sometimes next year, and we have done a pilot launching in Dhaka, but that's not a very big issue. A big issue because it's just limited to some areas. And if you look at artificial intelligence and machine learning, yes, the governments are already using artificial intelligence and machine learning in their decision making. Uh, and the Cambridge Analytica, which we have heard, is one of the very famous, infamous use of AI and machine learning. And there are challenges also, and there are ethical issues also cropping up, and there are areas where we should be very careful. We do not want to create a social issues with this AI and ML. You have seen there are eavesdropping and there are monitoring using AI and ML, especially if you go to some places in the some countries they have a very good facial recognition matching and other being used for their decision making and also for monitoring of the citizen. But we want to use a fair, we would like to use the AI and machine learning as a for fair use, not to intrude into the citizen's life. And we have done some of work in this AI and machine learning, like we have Janata Sarkar, where we gather information what the people are saying about the government policies, government initiatives, and whether the initiative and the policies are favorable for the citizen, or they want some changes or tweaking to make it more uh, personal, more beneficial. So we use it for different reasons. And there are other uses also where we use AI and ML machine learning to improve the uh, services that we provide to the citizen. So I hope I have covered most of what you have been asking. So
Yeah, I think
if
great,
you want,
great points. I think your point on everything as a cloud, I know it comes with a number of riders. There is security related issues, personal protection, data protection. I think many countries are also toying around GDPR like personal protection bills. And also, I think Bangladesh also has a similar one in the works. And the other thing that what we are seeing, Mr. Tariq, is also local data localization within the national jurisdiction, because sometimes the personal data is kind of spilled over many data centers across the globe, which the user nor the governments have sufficient control. So I think the localization, data localization is another major area that governments are driving, that will actually bring up a huge amount of data center build up. If I may also ask you, in Bangladesh, the data center, I know there are a number of companies engaged in data center build out, because fundamentally data center build out is real estate, power and cooling, and of course connectivity. That's the typical four pillars of a data center, and then people can come and host there. Just wanted to hear your view on the specific data protection work which is happening there, data localization, and probably even some of the initiatives from your side on promoting data centers, data center park, and hosting colo centers in. I know there are a number of players there too.
yeah. In Bangladesh, we have already set up quite a number of data centers. We have a tier 4 data center in the Kaliakur High Tech Park, and we have a tier 3 certified data center in Dhaka, and there are two other data center tier 3 certified in other cities, and we are also setting up another data center for the financial records and data. So yes, we are setting up data. And for the Data Protection Act, we are in the process of drafting. And data protection and data localizations are sensitive issues,
Yeah.
which the government is taking good care so that it does not drive away the foreign direct investment which comes to Bangladesh. We want to attract the foreign direct investment, and our government uh, has taken a very pragmatic view on it and trying to make sure that we do not antagonize the uh, the foreign investors, and the government also believes that we in the region should have a common data protection law like GDPR, like a SAARC GDPR or something, so that we all have a common uh, understanding on what we want to do. But there is also some challenges. In the European Union, they are economically all well off, but in the SAARC, some countries are not so economically developed or economically attractive for investment. So every country has their own thoughts, and we are working with our Data Protection Act, and hopefully we will be doing getting some law by the end of this year if everything goes well. And there are four types of data. There is a user-generated data, which I have myself put into the Facebook or social media. So that cannot be a protected data. That is a public data. So we have to differentiate between public and private data. But I will not let your medical data to be put on the
Yeah.
for sale. But we have seen that currently there are a lot of data losses, especially the credit card data losses,
Yeah.
which has been posted by the hackers in the dark web for sale. So these are the area we are concerned, and we are taking we are taking this issue seriously, and we hope to have a regional approach to these issues. Uh, we have joint working group meeting coming up with India on cyber security and the issues. We will definitely be taking up these issues in the meeting, and we will discuss to have a common talking points or areas of action plan for these violations.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your views, and I think so valuable. I really enjoyed this discussion, and thank you so much. We will probably get to meet face to face when I come down next time, or you're visiting India. And we just wanted to continue this discussion, Mr. Tariq.
Sure, sure. Thank you very much.